Towards the end of last year, I spent some time reflecting back on how it'd been the whole year for me. I've had this habit for a number of years that I like to contemplate at the end of each year and evaluate myself. I did this in a couple different ways this time. One was that I revisited the list I'd prepared at the start of last year and ticked off the goals that I achieved and the ones that I couldn't achieve. Second was I made another list of all the things that I shouldn't have done or could have done better, meaning the learning for next year. And I did this exercise with critical eyes because I look at it from this perspective that every year is a fresh start and it gives us the opportunity to learn and grow. But that requires taking a look at a few super important improvement areas of your life. The three reasons that I'm about to share with you now sum up everything that I didn't do the way I was supposed to. And how have I prioritized those now for this year? If you've also done a bit of evaluation lately, then I'd love to read your experiences in the comment section below. Number one is more planning, less action. One of the things that stood out for me when I was doing this exercise was that I spent quite a lot of time making plans to do stuff. However, didn't get a lot done. Although sitting on the fence dreaming about potential possibilities isn't bad, but I think I sat more than I had to. For example, at the start of last year, I made a plan to learn a new programming language. I thought I was doing something positive with my life, so I was really excited about it. I started buying new books and get ideas on where to start. I even signed up for an online course and literally spent hours watching random tutorials on YouTube. Then soon enough, I was at a point when I couldn't manage to take out regular time required for daily programming and didn't eventually build up the discipline needed to learn the new language. Although I learned a thing or two, but I was almost back to where I started. Throughout the year, there were many things like that where I had the desire to do something and spend time in planning, but eventually ended up second guessing myself and got a very little done. From this year, however, I will hopefully be following a different approach. For example, I've been thinking about starting a podcast for a couple of months, but I was waiting for a perfect start, like when I can afford the best gear, have money to advertise it, and shit like that. And with this approach, I think I would have just kept on planning and never get anywhere. Instead, now my approach is to take more action and only limited planning. I've decided to get started with what I have and not worry about the perfect launch and the equipment, etc. Keeping that in mind, I recorded the first episode and the second and the third, and soon I'll be launching it, just like that. Number two is healthy lifestyle. One of the other most important things that I feel went south last year was my ability to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And when I deeply thought of it, I discovered the exact improvement areas of my lifestyle. One is that I used to promise myself each night that I would wake up early in the morning, and when it was time to wake up, I just didn't. Sometimes I also would, but there were more days when I didn't as compared to when I did. And this is also another example of more planning with less action. Another one is physical exercising, which also didn't happen the way it was supposed to or the way I wanted it to. Mainly because I lacked self-discipline and I wasn't waking up in the morning, and later in the day it was kind of difficult to take out time because I also have a full-time job. But there is one thing I always ensured, that even on the days when I didn't work out, I would still have a healthy breakfast. And talking about food in general, I managed to stick to healthy options mostly, except for occasional late night munching, with Netflixing, etc. And that also I'm going to knuckle down on this year. From food perspective, I've already begun to include more of raw veggies in my diet. So all in all, keeping a healthy lifestyle is going to be my number one priority in the future. Number three is thinking before speaking. This particular bit about myself I only discovered recently when I repeatedly caught myself saying things that I later regretted. Most of us experience spur of the moment tendencies where we speak something that we wish we hadn't said. And if we don't choose right thoughts, then wrong thoughts come into words. And, one, they hurt other people, and two, they embarrass us. And in all the cases when my words didn't hit the right spot, 90% of the time I could have prevented those unfavorable outcomes by just not saying them in the first place. And it's not that I meant them 100% the way they were said, but how it is. No one really cares about the intention, and words alone can do plenty of damage. So I wanted to train my brain to think before speaking. I mean, to create a habit of giving myself a few seconds to think before I spit out the words. One important question that I've already started asking myself in those few seconds is that if what I'm about to say can potentially be hurtful to someone, then can I just not say that thing? Meaning to eliminate it right there in the brain. And if it does need to be said, then what's the best way to say it so that it doesn't hurt? Over the last few days only, there have been a number of things that I was tempted to say, but through this exercise, I didn't say them. And perhaps saved myself from potential consequences that may have come along. And going forward, I just want to get better at that. That's it really. Those were the top 3 areas of improvement that I identified for myself from last year. And I'm already on the journey to improve them. And like I said in the beginning, if you've also done or thought about something like that, then feel free to put them down in the comment section below so other people and I can learn from you too. And I truly appreciate the time you spent watching this video. If you're watching my videos for the first time, then do check out some of my other videos and also subscribe to my channel for future updates. Once again, thanks for watching.